Namaste and good evening, everyone. Thank you all for giving your precious and valuable timing and joining us for today for another episode of HR Webcast with one more interesting topic, that is Analytics Enabler HR. Well, analytics is everywhere and all companies are adopting it. Every industry, all industries domain is already related to analytics and attached to it. What isn't obvious is that HR is one of the most data rich and analytics intensive areas all in this corporate world. So the question comes to everyone's mind, what is HR analytics? HR analytics is also known as people analytics, talent analytics, or workforce analytics. It deals with analyzing day to day functions, day to day work, and the problems of the organization. Today, we are here with our industry leaders and legends who will walk us through the approach towards analytics in HR and support within HR functions. But before that, let me quickly invite our founder of World of Marketing, Sri Ashish Singh ji, to talk about on the World of Marketing platform. Please welcome Mr. Ashish Singh.
Namaste
Namaskar,
everyone.
Ashish Singh ji.
I welcome you all to the Warm TV. And today we are having HR discussion with HR experts, right?
Right.
So if you allow me, so can I say a few words on this HR cast, which I have memorized sometime before.
Sure.
Okay. So when we talk about the HR as a layman, we think it's more about recruitment. Okay. And I remember I started my career in 2006. So that time, the recruitment process has come a long way from 2006. From paper CVs, now thanks to the decade-long digital transformations like online job portals, video calls, Skype interviews, and all that. Okay. I'm not from HR, I'm in marketing. So I'm saying from the layman sides. So one step ahead, these days, artificial intelligence, AI-based data selections can elevate the hiring processes these days. This is screening of a good candidates among a big data of candidates. So yes, we are talking about intelligent HR agent today. Maybe we may talk about this, not human, but robots. Yes, we are talking about the robots. Like Rajesh, these days AI has become a buzzword these days. Everyone talking about the AI and artificial intelligence and big data and all those things.
Machine
Refer to the
learning, big
Hollywood
data
movies.
analysis. Yes.
Yes. And thanks to the Hollywood movies, you
True.
often think of human-like robots. What's the name of the movie? I don't remember. Which can learn our behavior, and get the work done on behalf of the human. And potentially, in a couple of years, they will take over the world someday in the future. Not a couple of years, yeah. I mean, maybe 200 years.
That
That
is
they will take over the world some. Okay.
many
So now
movies
with the
like
help of many movies. So now with the help of AI, we don't follow the customer in marketing. We don't follow the customer. Like you must be knowing that omni-channel communications. So we don't follow the customer, but we present at all the touch points where a customer goes.
true.
These insights from the softwares and these things, it helps company to sell its product as well as the customer's journey. Likewise, in the recruitment, I mean, not marketing, wherever the customer is. Suppose I'm going somewhere or I'm going through some customer journey, some another process, another phase. But our product is present there. Likewise, in recruitment, there may be a different tools and software which is being used in hiring processes, such as chatbots or some algorithm automation HR automations to get the right candidate to the company. I mean, screening and all those things. But I'll not take too much of time when experts are here. Okay, so I invite Yashmin to take it from here. Okay. So, and one more thing, I ask to the audience, please shoot your questions, whatever you want to ask. Okay, Yashmin, please.
Namaste and good evening, everyone. Thank you so much
Welcome,
for thank you
Yasmin
so
ji.
much. Thanks Rajesh ji for a very nice welcome, and I thanks Ashish ji for a brief introduction of HR webcast, and I thanks my lovely audience to be available this Sunday evening. At the same time, I'm very happy and honored to moderate this panel of speakers who carries a decades of experience in HR and analytics space, and also happy to welcome all the audience who are knowledgeable and I'm sure will be waiting to hear my speakers and ask a lot of questions. With this, I would like to introduce and invite a panelist. Our first panelist is Ms. Ujjaini Mitra. She is a senior executive carrying 13 years of rich leadership experience in establishing data as a culture at large organizations, successfully building and leading center of excellence through creative methods, leading business strategies through data and actionable insights. Her work experience is spread over global industries, digital media, e-commerce, telecom, CPG, retail banking to name few. She has been associated with companies like Woot, Airtel, Flipkart, and McKinsey to name few. At Z currently, she is building Center of Excellence for ZFi, spanning across business intelligence, analytics, predictive and prescriptive modeling, AI, market research, and digital lab. Can we please have Ujjaini Mitra on the screen?
Thank you so much, Yasmin, Ashish, and Rajesh ji. Thank you so much. This is a
Namaskar, ma'am. Welcome to
lovely.
the world of marketing TV.
Thank you, thank you. This is a lovely, warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny, so much. And it's my pleasure to meet you in person. I mean, it's e-meeting you. Thank you so much for giving your time Sunday evening. With this, I would like to take an honor to invite my second panelist, that's Kavan Purohit, who carries 21 years of diversified experience with a comprehensive, deep strategic understanding in HR at a leadership role. He has explored HR in various industrial segments such as fintech, manufacturing, IT, and telecom. He's currently working at S&P Global, carries 12 plus of experience from Tata Group, and also worked with HCL Technologies and Videocon Group at a leadership capacity. Within HR, his major contribution is organization design, development, transformation, and learning and development. Can we have Kavan Purohit, please, on the screen?
Hey, namaskar, good evening and good morning.
Namaskar, Kamal bhai.
Hey,
Yeah,
Kavan.
and
Welcome to WM TV.
yeah, thank you, World of Marketing team for giving this opportunity, and thank you, Jenny, for joining here. And big thank you to the audience, those who are with us today on Sunday evening. All right.
Absolutely. So it's my pleasure to have you both as a renowned speaker at WOM TV platform. And thank you so much once again. So, with this, as we are moving ahead in the journey of this show today, I believe with the advent of data analytics, it is crucial for all business leaders and organization to constantly evolve with changing times. So, whether AI, analytics, it's all part of life now. Metrics that couldn't be identified, measured, are now being easily measured and has changed a lot in the way the HR leader functions. Whether it's big and small enterprises, they all are embracing analytics, but most still don't have a data driven culture. And I see that change management is something that we need at this time in all organization, and buy-in from the top management is a must to transform to a most agile enterprise. So, influencing your CEO with a wow data is a must, I believe, to get budgets and approval so that we all our business functions are in sync. So, I have a question in mind before we move ahead, and I think that is my opening question for this forum. What if complete evaluation process in any size of organization is AI driven? So, Kavan, I'll come to you because you are the business head for HR. So, we can please proceed with this question with you.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and I have different thoughts here. But yes, I'll go more generic about it. So, uh, to me, I think the answer is depending on what kind of organization I run and what are the existing work processes, work practices, also work culture I have established here. Also, what kind of work we do. So let's understand what does this mean and how it works. So what's an HR analytics? And I think Ujjaini touched upon it, Ashish touched upon it. Uh, to me, I think enabling HR to drive insights through a systematic and data-driven approach to identify people drivers for achieving desired business results. That's all about HR analytics. And when I say data driven approach, that means using data through various platforms and tools like AI or automation or robotics, or maybe using simple Excel files. So, in order to develop a data driven approach and make use of these platforms effectively, what do I need? The answer is very simple. I need a clean, authenticated, and secured data in a timely manner. So let's take the same example of a performance evaluation system. Imagine if I want to use AI or my systems or my tools to run the entire performance evaluation system without a human intervention, then what do I need? I need a set of data on employees' job profiles, their job descriptions, their small or big achievements versus the kind of objectives we have set in the initial or the beginning of the year. Feedback from their managers, from their peers, their participation in various initiatives, the past data of their salary changes, if any, or if there are any internal movements of those employees, like changing job profiles or moving from another project to a different projects. Also, I would need a data around their skills versus their potential and how they're applying to work. I also need data of the training programs or some external exposures they have been participating in, and many more data. So I need a huge set of data if I want to run my performance evaluation through AI. The other part is the data must be secure because, as many of you know, data privacy is a big concern in today's world for most of the organizations. Like we have GDPR in Europe or say European Union, we can see a similar data privacy norms or that kind of level set by regulatory board in EDI as well. So first of all, you should have an ability to have such data with you. And here the question comes, what kind of processes you have, what kind of scalable infrastructure you have developed. So if it is a complete project driven organization, so you can easily capture these kind of data through your project management system or project charters or some other systems easily. And if you have a setup where processes are more human dependent, then you can go for a hybrid model of using data with human intervention. To summarize this, uh, my answer to this question is completely based on your capability and your capacity to capture and produce a right amount of secure data. And probably I would love to, because I'm talking about secure data or right amount of data, I would like to, have Ujjaini to chime in and talk about, the data.
Thank you so much, Kavan, for setting the background. And I totally agree that today artificial intelligence yet hasn't reached that stage where probably we can do end-to-end processing through machines. But I truly believe that if we want to try on that, and if our organization really want to do and start the experiment now, um, I think they will be able to define it. So now I'll give you, few examples. So the first one, Kavan, you spoke about that source of data, right, and having a very clean data, and then you spoke about the secure data, and then you spoke about driving insights out of it. So most of the organization actually has some or other mechanism or employee platform where employees put their KRAs at the start of the year, right? Either a KRA or what is the achievement goal. What we have in my current organization, what we have tried doing is actually break down the top organization goal. And this is many organization where there is a top level organization goal which gets down at a cascading level at every individual level, even at a most bottom line, that which project, what kind of work, or what kind of goal that each of them are driving through. So what we call it, and that is where we have used data science, a heavy amount of statistical modeling, to be able to arrive that, okay, if these are the top 5 KPI which as a CEO or even at the management body of the organization is driving, what does it mean to first break it down to the functional level? We call it a functional KPI tree. And through some proper machine learning model, whether it is random forest and etc., actually it is possible to derive. For example, if I have to add X $1 million sales at the top of the company, how that sale is broken down by different, or that revenue is broken down by different functions. Now if we can actually drive that, then it comes down to the further sub function level, it comes down to further level. Ultimately we are able to give a very numerically measurable or objectively measurable individual goal at the start of the year, and then that goes into the KRA system. So that is where the goal setting comes. The second one is, there are multiple other platforms where people are going through their learning and development, their training, their achievements, their email, their vacations, in number of stuffs that probably not in a direct numerical manner, but those actually could be converted, because these are all unstructured data. This falls into unstructured data. And then if we have a very clear feedback driven organization culture, where feedbacks are probably once a month, there is a one on one manager gives a one on one feedback, or a very clear objective feedback to the to each of the reportees, which is written down. We can access that and do the different information derivation out of it, like what is the emotion, what are the different events. If we actually look at the events or the topicality, we will understand, because many people say that it is not just achieving the goal, but it is also the means of achieving the goal that is also important in the evaluation. We will be able to understand that what are the different means a person is taking to achieve the goal, right? And so all those things, once we will be able to mine it. And today that kind of capability in science exists. So if we can club all those informations in a 360 degree, which we can call as a employee 360 or a people 360, a very similar manner, the way we create a consumer 360 for the business, if we do the same camera move towards the organization and create a people 360 around that, that will give us enough information to be able to drive the evaluation. And at many places, you will hear that first of all, evaluation takes a lots of time from all the managers, and particularly if it's a large team, most of the cases managers don't do enough justice to be able to take individual attention and drive the proper evaluation process. There are many organizations where I hear favoritism exists. The moment we move out of this human driven process, the biasness that comes from human judgment, human interactions, that will actually go down, and it will be very objective and a very cleanly driven method. And you will be able to also say that if this is a person stays, I mean, at a fifth, probably a ranking between 1 to 5, someone has got 5 versus someone has got 4 or 4.2, why someone has got 5 versus why someone has got 4.2? Otherwise today, I have my team members who has got 4. They come and ask, oh, Jenny, can you tell me what should I do to move to 5? And many a time I have seen that people don't have answer to that. That clearly because those drivers based on which someone has been rated 5 versus someone has been rated 4 are not there. and therefore those talking points, honesty and the transparency doesn't exist. So I think we will be able to come out of lots of human bias, organizational bias, cultural bias, if we establish that it is possible. Is it 100% done and dusted? No, nobody has done and dusted it, but this is the best time to do the experimentation and start on it. So it's possible, at least from the possibility side, it's doable. Yasmin, I think you are on mute.
Oh, sorry about it, guys. Thank you so much. So, Kavan, I'm just thinking while she's talking about evaluation process to AI and the rating system, and there are various aspects apart from the evaluation process. Like, for example, we were talking about corporate culture. So, similarly, can we also in a traditional organization drive a method to analyze and collect data in a corporate culture? Like traditionally, from tradition to the current AI-driven method.
Sorry, I lost your last
So, can
sentence.
we still
Yes.
collect the data for corporate culture to AI-driven method?
Oh, yeah. I mean, see, when it comes to collecting the data or capturing the data, I must say, and as already Eugenie mentioned, that you need to really develop the source around you. For an example, at S&P Global, and because we are a global organization and we have a footprints in most of the countries on this planet, so one of the focus area is like DNI or inclusion and diversity. So we thoroughly using data to see ourselves, like where we stand in terms of diversity and inclusion. And there are many more examples like that. But yes, my answer is yes. I mean, if you have a right tools, and obviously cost is playing a vital role here. So if you are ready to invest, definitely you can have whatever kind of data you want.
Alrighty, then
Yasmin,
that
could I add one point here, if you don't mind? So, Kavan, good that you picked up that cost point, and when we wanted to do that journey. So, in multiple of my previous organization, I tried doing the HR analytics. So, one place, we being an in-house data science team, whenever we tried to jump into HR analytics, the first question come, this is an internal team, and if I open up all the data, for example a compensation and all those data exist, this will suddenly, which are confidential, this will suddenly open up to some people who are internal data science team. So it was somehow was not so easy or so possible. We had to go for indexation data and etc. But in the current organization, when we tried doing it, we picked up few. First of all, we created a charter that these are the 6 or 7 places within nature where we want to establish it, and picked up 1 or 2 places where it is a lesser effort but higher impact, right? So when we picked up that, for example, hiring, even the hiring managers, they spend so much time looking through all this CVs and figuring out, like, even if we have just a text NLP system, which we already have, just deploy the same NLP system to convert it into a database, right? So such things, when we picked up, we found that we can actually extend the, if our organization has an in-house data science team, we can always extend only few people on top of that, and there are enough knowledge base which can directly go and be deployed for the employee or the people analytics purpose also. So I do not know how do other organizations can bridge that, but thankfully in Z5 we have been able to bridge it by signing couple with those people so that you don't actually leak the informations. But otherwise, cost wise, I have found there are tools which you can augment, of course might be costly, but if already an organization has data science team and infrastructure, it only becomes a slight incremental cost and not become a very drastically high cost or budget from that perspective.
Thanks, Jaini. Just based on your answer, I have developed another question. Maybe I'll ask both of you. Like, for example, you're talking about the cost-based and approvals and like in-house data science team. So, do you think it's challenging to prove ROI from HR analytics to our executive leadership team? Understanding data science, cost, automation, and other operational costs that might hype your current function PNL. So, do you think it's still challenging, or I think we are equipped now at this stage?
Do you want me to go first, Ujjaini?
Please, absolutely.
Because I mean, why I'm going first is this question of ROI. It is always hanging in front of me. If I talk from an HR standpoint, not only HR, I would say, whenever I mean during the budget process, whenever there is a new initiative, and the business leaders or HR leaders or commercial heads, they would come up with some proposal. Definitely, top executives or I mean, they would have that question of ROI back of their mind because we need to understand that end of the day we are answerable to the shareholders or people those who are stakeholders in this entire business. But I mean, sometimes I feel, basis my experience, that uh, you know, we need to understand one fact that everything cannot always be measured ROI of the absolute form. There'll be an indirect positive impact as well, sometimes from the quarterly or annual results. I can hear some noise, so maybe it's other from the mute. Oh, thank you, Yasmin. Yeah. Uh, and sometimes such initiatives are not 100% tangible as well. But but you need to start from somewhere, right? It's about how you have created a buy-in to the top management, how you are selling your proposal, how you are selling your internal product. And the first step is to prepare for a change management. I would say it's about how your top leaders and the organization is change prepared. Today, the leaders should understand the need for change with how future of work is changing so rapidly with a growing data economy. I think, to me, I think gradually we are entering into a fourth industrial revolution, which is based on data. There will be a data war everywhere. What kind of future skills are emerging to coexist with machine by increasing talent efficiency? So using data will certainly help the organization to master some of the futuristic skills like quick decision making, assessing data, critical thinking, creativity. Quite often, I mean, I have seen people are asking a very typical question: will robots take away the jobs? Like Ashish, I think, initially talked about it. There is a fear that how about automation and bots are taking away jobs? To me, I think it's all about how we coexist, because we cannot deny the fact that, oh, I will not be using AI or machines, because they've already entered. you know we need to let bots do the work with heavy volume, and which doesn't require like creative thinking or creative involvement, and let we people do the smart work. Let's get freed up to innovate by using our creativity and emotional agility. That is what my thoughts are. And HR can be an enabler to develop organization by transforming from a conventional HR approach to being just an admin support, or always HR is busy doing HR operations and all. From there, we have to move to a consultative and strategic HR partner. And how HR can do that today? They should develop a mindset of using data analytics, automation, and that would help to get freed up for consuming energy into volume-based work. To HR can contribute more strategically. And when I say volume-based work, there'll be many areas in HR like recruitment. I can use here S&P Global. I mean, how we are using some of the tools. Like we are using a platform where we are because I mean we have a very huge employee base, like it's more than 18,000 employees across the globe. There is a heavy volume hiring at entry level, and we are using a tool where our recruitment team doesn't have to really pip in into the entry level positions. It's everything AI driven, and there will be a test conducted by the system. There would be a results out. There would be a segregation of rejected candidates, recommended candidates, and highly recommended candidates. So what recruitment team will do, they will only go and spend time on like highly recommended profiles. So that is how I can go back to my management and I can talk about like how recruitment team have saved upon their energy to work with middle managers to have and create a talent pipeline, talent potential. So that is how I can convert, the investment into ROI, I would say. So, like from an HR analytics perspective, the ROI can be measured based on upskilling people, upskilling talent, uh, measuring productivity, work efficiency through innovation, and everything will be having a direct impact on the P&L of the organization or EBITDA of the organization. So I think change management and creating awareness, branding, and user adoption is the key uh, when we think about this kind of stuff. Yeah.
So in my mind, Yasmin, what I have found whenever, so there was a good amount of time, like when I started and I started building the advanced analytics team. That time, like 6 years back, there was a question: can you prove the ROI of data science? Right? Today, nobody even asks. Today, everybody just believes in that they just require it. I mean, there's no other go. I mean, there's no thinking required for that. So I mean, this is once again another thing, right? You just have to prove few good success to do that. And if still there are questions in the mind of management to assign certain budgets, there, it is always good to do certain experiments. And I always say that let's pick up at least 2 to 3 small POCs doesn't take a too much of time, right? And too much of effort, neither it takes a too much of budget. So allocate at least that much of budget, and every organization has experimentation budget. No company can say that we don't have anything. So if you have a certain experimentation budget, do some 2 to 3 small projects. So show actually the benefit that coming out of it, and then do the calculation and show that if you scale it up, what is the benefit that you will get. There are certain cases where you may not be able to get a very short term benefit. Certain things like data science is not a short term game. Like if you want to play a 1 quarter game, that is not going to give you that benefit. It's not like a sale, right? Direct sale. You do the sale in the market and you get the revenue. It's not like that. But if you actually build a good 2 to 3 years kind of a project PNL, you will suddenly see that technology always has an exponential S curve, right? So if you actually see the S curve, like the way IT benefits, the way data science benefits, always it follows an S curve. So the start is slow, but then when it moves the inflection point, it suddenly exponentially goes up. And that exponentiation, if you, unless and until you cross that level, you will not get it. So that much faith benefit that people has to see through small projects, and then they should be able to go ahead for that.
And just one more thing which I would like to add here is, and I little bit touched upon, uh, because as I say, like rapidly we are moving to a data economy, and in that data economy, I think innovation is a key, which would be a key differentiator in the market if you want to really lead the market. And a lot of time people, have a question like where to innovate and when to innovate. We are completely busy in our day in, day out jobs, and we are completely, packed up. Schedules are packed up with the operational activities and other stuff. We have to free up. So there, actually, we can use those tools or automation or whatever. Where again, I'm reiterating on the same thing, like how you can help your managers, your people, to, take out the monotonous admin kind of a jobs and let system do that job, and let people focus on innovation. Let people focus on, how creatively we can think about different products, how I can apply design thinking even in my small processes or big processes or whatever. Yeah. So
There are so many interesting questions are from the audience side. So Yashmin, if you want, we can get some questions from audience side.
Just a moment. I think there's one question that I and Jenny we had been discussing, and we would like to talk about it. There's one question like we all are having HR analytics, all are hiring and trying to set up AI analytics to drive HR business function. So, who owns it in the company? Like, do MI's team, tech team, or HR itself owns it? So there's always an ambiguity, and I see like when I'm working, HR will always come to a team to help them support technically to drive HR analytics. So can you please both of you give us some insights so we all know?
yeah,
So
it's a
I
great
can,
question.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
sure. Thank you. So, in my mind, as you know, in one of the previous conversation, Kavan was saying that this depends on the org culture, right? So, this once again depends very much on org culture. I give you an example, like in Z5, data science team actually owns the definition of the year's target. I have hardly ever seen that any organization where data science team gives the business target for the year or for the next 5 financial years, right? So the Z5 is a very data driven organization where take, product and data creates the nucleus of the business. So here, HR analytics, when we actually defined it. However, what is important is this is a very cross functional success. This can never be done only by data team without having a buy in from the main business function. So we had to bring in the HR team, we had to bring in the AI team and the tech team who will actually help us creating all the backend data pipelines to create all the structure, infrastructure and architecture behind. So it's a joint success in my mind, and based on culture or organization culture, someone or other will own it. So I think it doesn't matter who owns it, as long as the goal is clearly set, the strategy, the mission is clearly set, and we know therefore what does it mean. If we can break it down in a workshop that this is what is 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan, and this is what we are going to deliver, and then whoever actually does it, it's okay in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I second the thought, and I think Ujjaini, you have covered most part of what I wanted to talk. Like, it's not really important that who owns it. It's more important how we use it, and I mean, my thoughts are like uh, technology or internal tech team is always a great enabler or enabling organization by creating a safe and robust platforms or systems to capture and curate data, right? And HR and other business stakeholders are responsible to use that data effectively. So it's like a collaborative partnership or collective efforts. But still, if you want me to answer this question, like who owns it? But when it comes to people data, I would say HR should own that data. Simple. Great.
Thank you, Kavan. And I think, yes, HR should be owning the data because it's one of the key function in a business organization. So, just one question that is coming to my mind, and after that, I think I will open a question for the audiences. See, everybody can afford it, tool, technology, hire a consultant as a data science and get started and create a program. However, not everybody understand how to get started. So, Ujjain, you're an expert, I believe, a data science leader. Can you throw some light on how to get started from HR analytics perspective in an organization, someone who do not have a developed structure?
Okay. So if someone doesn't have a developed data science COE within the organization, I think there it is very important that they should go for a very expert person who can actually work hand in hand along with the HR team to craft the charter, right? Because one is the business crafting the complete charter without knowing that what's possible, what's not possible, which one is easy to do versus which one is difficult to do, and how much impact it can get, right? So I think they can always go for an external expert consultant who can come and work at least for a couple of weeks to create the charter for the organization, and then thinking through that what is the kind of structure will be beneficial. There are organizations who are absolutely okay to start a kind of a business intelligence, predictive, prescriptive, AI, all the things parallel, okay? But there are certain organizations who say no, I want to first do one step at a time and take the process forward. There is nothing called right and wrong, both is absolutely fine, and it just has to go what suits for the business. The second question that comes is, should we build a in-house team who will do it, or should we actually go for the external consultant, external product augmentation, and actually get it done through that? If the organization already has a COE exist in data science, then it's always better to go for a in-house team. For example, like if I talk about the companies or the startups who are digitally born, right? So like Z5 or say Flipkart, or they already have a large data science technology team. So it doesn't make sense to go completely out. They can actually build the whatever required for in-house, they can build it and drive it. However, if an organization for whom it is not the natural thing, they can think of, okay, if these are the 5 things that I have to do, let me start with these 2. And for these 2, the first one, I have a already ready product available in the market. Let's do an RFP. Let's evaluate few products and actually, integrate one of the product in the process, and at least get an immediate success out of it, because proving the low hanging success is also very important in case of a pioneering situations. But it is also important that there is at least 1 or 2 people, senior to mid senior level, who will be able to mentor, monitor, and bring the true value out of those products. What happens, I have seen many organizations go and augment these products from external products which are already there, but they haven't been able to prove the proper ROI out of it, because there is no in-house intelligence who can drive the true value of the product. The product is not bad, but it's just that someone was not there to drive the value, right? So it is always important at least to have 1 or 2 senior to mid senior person, or if there is an HR person who is very data driven, maybe is coming from a tech background, has good data quotient, maybe they can think of upskilling that person to be able to pick up this new kind of role. So both way it is possible, but it is important to start with an expert and chalking out the charter and what looks like a success. Instead of, you do not today need to do experimentation for everyone. There is so much work already done. No point inventing the wheel once again. So getting help from experts always help.
Well, thank you. So, Ujjaini, I'm sure with your inputs, we'll become smarter employee and smarter HR. So, with this, I think it's 40 minutes, and I believe there are many questions in queue. I'll start taking up from Facebook and YouTube. Can we have the first questions, please? How we can together data from, I mean, how we can gather the data from different places. Yeah.
Anurag, so I think I touched upon that point. First thing is we have to figure out that what all different kinds of data exist around a employee. So one, if you start with the sourcing of the person, till all the journey of the person till the retirement or when the person leaves the organization. So you can think it like a hire to retire kind of whole life cycle of an employee, and all the touch points that employee has. The touch point is the hiring process, the interviews, then the person joining, onboarding, the person's first 90 days, the KRA, the goal setting, the first 90-day feedback. So if you already have such touch points, from each touch point you can start gathering the data. And most of the tools today actually support you to convert those information into data. And if it's an unstructured data, the data science already has enough tools and technologies to be able to derive quantitative information out of it. And that way we can do it. And it's an ID management. Generally all organization has an employee ID, so all touch points will have against that ID. So creating an employee 360 is not a big deal today.
Okay, so I hope Anurag, you have got your answer from Ujjaini ma'am. So we have another question. Oh, again, it's from Anurag. How HR chatbots are going to take over personal interactions in future? Come on, I think we were talking about chatbots. This for you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good question, and I think Anurag, I mean, many organizations are moving towards that. I can simply take my example, like at S&P Global, we have implemented chatbots. Those who are taking up tier one employee queries, like the internal HR team doesn't have to spend too much time on answering people on like simple questions. So how many leaves I have taken so far, or what is my leave balance, what is the policy for education reimbursement, blah blah blah. So those kind of tier one queries can always be handled by chatbots, and there are various tools available. There are different platforms available. Even as Ujjaini said, like if you have a strong, in-house data science team or developers, you can develop a simple tool within. Cool. Next question, please.
So they know what
Um,
there are organizations where particularly they have even moved all their travel related requests, because most places you will find traveling and coming and submitting all the reimbursement process is very cumbersome. They have converted this whole process through a chatbot. Like you can just either type or speak to a chatbot that, okay, this is the flight on this date, I want to travel between this time. They will do all the remaining process and send you the the ticket and everything, the web check-in ticket in your mobile, in your WhatsApp. Like it could be as seamlessly done.
yeah, I've noticed that that process is very convenient rather than you calling toll free and other people, and it saves your time as well.
Yeah.
So with this, I think Anurag, you have this answer clear as well from Ujjaini.
But I have a question. It does not have a human side. I mean, few people are in my family. They like to talk to the person in. Suppose they are calling to some like bank or some other organization, and recorded sound welcomes him. Ki, what is your questions? But the old people, they want to talk to the person directly.
Yeah, so that's again, Ashish, it's a great thought. And I would say it's again a mindset shift or change in mindset, I would say, because let me not take names here, but some of the banks, they are known for having a huge clientele base, which is like from the
What a
interior
Mahindra.
part of villages or maybe old age people or whatever. Now they cannot simply think of having chatbots, especially if we talk from an Indian perspective, But if you go to some Western world, even though those kind of people, even people those who are living in countryside, they are pretty much well versed of having a conversation with chatbots or taking support from the chatbot. So, like, it's a gradual evolution, I would say, in terms of how we are using bots and how we are using machines.
And
But
human and machine
Ashish, what
interface,
we can
that should be
do,
also. Mhm. Yeah, sure, sure. Tell me.
Ashish, exactly, what we can do. So imagine, and exactly that Kavan said that there is a long clientele, right? But there always is a young clientele who are absolutely okay to do any kind of work through text or through the chatbot, right? And then there is the older people or people who want to speak to a human. So at that cases, even when I deploy a chatbot, it always reduces the traffic on your call center. So people who are happy to do that, they will use it. And then people who still want to speak, they will always go and speak. But still, you will be able to reduce the traffic. You will be able to improve cost, because then you will require less number of people in your call center. So either way, it is helpful.
Correct. It will take some time. Okay. Yeah. Next questions.
Okay. So we have a question from Hira Pant. With the respect to all HR leader here, are you guys should tell the people how to make data smart? How to make data smart is the question.
What kind of questions?
I'm not getting
I'll
the
repeat.
question very.
So let me simplify it. It maybe she's asking that how we can make smart data and how we can tell people to use smart data, make and use.
Maybe Ujjaini can answer better, but as far as I know, there is no data called smart data or.
But we
Data
have to
is
make the
data.
data smart.
Data is data. How smartly we are using it. That's what I mean. But yeah, Ujjaini, you can.
I can say one is a dump data and second is refined data. One is dump data, you put a big data, okay, and for for someone like a data which is refined, which is very making a simple tracker, that is a refined data, the smart data. Maybe that kind of
Well,
question.
ma'am, I think you are the leader in this. I don't need answers from all.
Next, I think we should go to the next questions. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think as Ashish exactly said, data is data, right? And if you think it like a mine, like gold also comes like a ore, and which is a very raw format. Only when you refine it and make it an ornament, that is when the value of gold comes out, right? Or you make something of investment worthy. So nobody invests in the raw gold ore. They always invest in 22 karat gold bond or gold. So question exactly is there. When data comes in its raw format, it may not be in a usable format. Like a person's goal, right? If the goal is written in a textual fashion and you just have a dump of it, it's not going to tell you anything. You cannot do anything out of it. But only when you convert that into a more objective things, something which machine will be able to read, that is when you convert it into insights or actions. For example, one of a very simple data like what percentage, and you can check it from the Outlook or any email system or calendar system that you use. There is lots of noise coming. Someone may need to go mute. If you look at those calendar and you suddenly find that some people are not delivering the results on time, you probably can go back and check in their calendar what percentage of their time is going into meeting. You might suddenly discover that 70 to 80% of the time the person is in some or other meeting. Obviously the 20% time the person has, he or she will not be able to deliver the projects on time. So even such kind of, but just a simple dump of the calendar is not enough. But only when you convert that how many hours out of the total work hours is going into, on an average, going into meeting, that becomes a smart data. So that requires a domain understanding, insights, intuition, and that's how you will be able to do it.
Well, I think thanks. That's a brilliant and elaborated answer, and I think she must have gotten clarity around it. So there's one question from Facebook, I believe, Jennifer Francis. Hi, Ujjaini, in HR, SAP, and data science, how to learn this? Which is better in career prospects? Is it for Ujjaini or is it for Kavan?
Whoever, I mean, but I can still take this up.
Yes.
I mean, it's two different probably lines. Jennifer is talking about, and I think it's up to you, Jennifer, that where your interest lies and what do you really like, what you're happy to work with, which platform. Uh, but yeah, I mean, if you ask me personally, probably I would say the future would be more leaning towards, data science, that I would say. But that's completely my personal opinion. And maybe Eugenie can talk about, where to learn those tools, or is there platforms or whatever.
See, exactly. I think as Kavan said, SAP is a tool, right? And data science is agnostic of any tool, any technology. Like data science is how you make data to speak and tell you the stories which you can go and use in the business strategies, right? So these are completely two different things. Learning SAP or any one kind of such tool, I don't think that's a good way, because today one tool is there, tomorrow another tool will come, so you cannot move from one tool to another. However, knowing one tool, particularly, given SAP has a very elaborated and a huge market share in terms of the number of companies who use, knowing this tool in details might give you a very good help. But without knowing fundamentals of data science, whatever tool you learn, it may not give you a enough value adding in terms of your career perspective for future. So I think both are independent things, and you have to learn, in my mind, both, or at least start with data science and then do learn one of the tool for the particularly for our organization.
I think thank you. That's again like very clear answer from SAP perspective. So now we have a question from Shivalika. What impact does HR analytics have on the bottom line in a corporate? Kavan, this can be for you.
Yeah, I know that. I know. I think, Valika, I have already answered this question in one of the talks previously, that there is no absolute form of ROI, or you can't say because I have implemented, HR analytics or HR automation. So that's the X percentage I can draw on the bottom line, or P&L, or whatever, or I can, close up my shareholder values. You can't say like that. I would say it's again a very connected devices. Like these are the steps to have a very better bottom line end of the day on the financial results. I would say, like how to increase productivity, how to make people upskill, how to retain your talent, how to convert people to do a smarter and innovative work at the workplace. And those are the things would lead to have a better bottom line or better P&L. Yeah. So
Thanks, Kavan. And I think with this, I will take the another question. Pulkit is asking, now most of jobs are turning out to be contract-based work. So how does HR analytics help with whether to enhance current employee skill or workload versus bring in experienced contractor to get the job? A big question.
yeah, it's a slightly complicated question, I would say. So let me take 30 seconds more to actually analyze the question. Short phase work.
So if I just give it a start, I think the question more is buy versus build, right? And whether you are going to build an in-house whole in-house process to be able to build this intelligence, or are you going to buy from external expert vendors or partners who can actually come and do it. Now, whenever, for any case, whether it is a technology, data science, or HR analytics, whenever a buy versus build question comes, once again, organization culture plays a role. There are organizations who believe in the IP creation, who believe in that to be a leader in the market, we have to build it completely in house to stay ahead of the curve. Whenever you are buying anything from outside, whether a service or a product, you are always limited by the intelligence and the capacity of the product. You can never grow beyond that. However, there are organizations who are very clear that, hey, listen, I do not want to establish a 50-member data science team that is not something we are specialized at, neither we want to go ahead and do it. Rather, bring in an expert data science organization or a HR analytics organization to do the job, and we are okay with that. So I think it is about the org culture. For example, in Z5 we have a very clear set goal in the buy versus build answer. We always think about that, is this problem or a product is we can build, do I have the in-house intelligence to build it in a very stipulated known time? And in that case, if I build it, so if I say that I will take 3 months to build it, is my business going to wait for that, and is it okay? Or is it that deploying an external product is like a 2 weeks game, and then I will get a good 6 months benefit out of it, which will give me a window to develop our in-house product, and then we can bring this both parallel for some time and then go with our in-house product. Versus there are certain things which I know that even if I go outside, I may not get a very good product. So it is better that we spend time, effort, money to build it completely in-house, and it is far better for long-term purpose to build it in-house. So that is how we buy versus build questions, and it is very much different from organization to organization. You have to understand what works best for your org culture.
And it's also depending upon how fast we want to grow or go about something, and how deep pocket you have, because everything boils down to the money you are spending.
Yes.
And if you don't have a time to, for some project, you can always go and buy it, do it, done. So yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's vary from organization to organization.
Alrighty. So I have another question from Suraj Shukla. How to decide what could be the right proportion of data performance KPIs, and also taking human behavioral factors in consideration of appraisal system.
So that kinds of bind you back to your starting question.
That's
Kavan,
why.
you are starting to answer, so please go on.
Yeah, no. I think it's all again the same what I have answered in my first question is like what kind of culture, what kind of processes, and what kind of nature of work you have in your organization. So if it's a like I'll give an example of a small startup, which is completely project driven starter, and it's completely a project approach organization where you can have everything run through the system, and you have a very well established project mechanism or project systems, where I mean it's up to you and your organization culture that what really you want to measure. I mean it's about what people have achieved versus how people have achieved, or it's a hybrid of both. Uh, so if you really just go about what people have achieved, it's very simple. You can always use AI, robotics, or automation, and you can easily derive from the system. How people have achieved, that also can be measured, that also can be captured. But if you really want to have nine box potential values and all this stuff, then you can always think about having a human intervention here. So there is no right proportion where I can share that 70-30, 50-40, sorry, 50-50 or 40-60. It's again up to your internal organization, that how you want to build your performance evaluation system. And uh, the question is, do you really want to have a conventional performance appraisal system or not? Because most of the organizations, according to my research, they are slightly moving from a conventional performance management or performance appraisal system to no performance appraisal system, because the conventional or current system which is existing in most of the 80% of the organization is like pretty old, like built 60 years back or whatever. And most of the organizations now, they are moving to a agile framework, even from waterfall to agile. And there are small projects, so they can easily map, they can easily measure what people are doing. So yeah, I hope I have answered, Suraj.
It's clear and nice, precise answer, Kavan. Thank you. And I think I'm looking forward to take another question. Jay is asking, my CV doesn't get selected. Please suggest the way out.
I mean, okay, so Jay, I think that requires a different session, I believe, because CV writing is also an art, and how you there's lots of noise coming. Sorry. Yeah, so I think it's also about how you are writing your CV and what you are writing there. That makes a lots of difference. Also, many people, what they do, they have one canned CV and they send the same CV everywhere, which actually doesn't work. Given the particular job, given the particular role, you should be able to customize your CV accordingly, because if it's a human driven, a human doesn't spend more than 30 seconds on a CV. So you have to be able to bring the right information that you want to sell about yourself. It's like as if selling your brand, right? Any brand has a 30 seconds advertisement, and you only remember those brands which actually are able to impress you within that 30 seconds. So think it like you are that brand. So what you want to say in that 30 seconds, you can even try to create a voice CV or a video CV. Just create that 30 seconds brand for yourself, which is like your elevator pitch. And if that sells, if you're that top 2-3 lines sells, you are good enough.
So it's
That is
like
very
30
important. That is very important. In fact, not for Jay, for everyone who is a job seeker here. In fact, we have been seeing so many job seekers in our WhatsApp groups. So this is a very important thing. You make a video CV, okay, and then pitch yourself, market yourself. Good point.
So I just remembered something. 30 seconds में जी लो अपनी जिंदगी. So with this,
One more.
another question. That's again from Hirapan. Hi Ujjaini, how OTT is using AI in selecting viewers' choice of movie? Wow, interesting.
Yeah, but I think that's a very off topic at this moment, not really related to the HR and people analytics. I would
Correct.
you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or even there are ample talk that I have given which are there on YouTube. You can go and absolutely browse those.
Correct.
So do we have any other questions from Facebook? I think it looks like we have covered the maximum that was trolling right now. Ashish, if you have any questions, maybe you can please go ahead, or maybe we can continue with word of mouth. Oh, I think there is one more. Pulkit. Please take it. I think Pulkit Purohit asking a question. Oh, I think we have already taken it. It's just a repetition.
Okay.
So with this, I think let Ashish take over to ask few questions and say a few word of thanks for both of my speakers and the audience. Ashish, you may please proceed.
We have a few more comments. I mean, that is compliments, like from Anand. New is HR. It's now HXM, Gate Learning. What is HXM? I don't know what is HXM.
I think that is the human experience management.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sushil, can we? I mean, are we covered with all the questions? Questions or comments or compliments? I think we have covered. Okay.
So I think Ashish, let's continue. The stage is yours.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank to our guest, okay, to come on Warm TV and speak to the audience. Okay, thank you all, and thank you Rajeshji, thank you Yasmin. We have another show at 7:30. It is for audience. We have another show at 7:30 on Warm TV under the banner of Changemakers. In this series, we invite the global changemakers, CEOs, entrepreneurs, MDs, and CMOs to talk about their journey and the challenges they have faced so far. And today we have someone from Bhutan. The very interesting thing about Bhutan has been ranked as the happiest country in all of the Asia, and one of the happiest countries in the world according to Business Week. It is the only country in the world to measure success not by economic growth, but by gross national happiness, GNH. Measures people's quality of life and make sure that material and spiritual development happen together. That's सब कुछ. Okay. So today we will have Mr. Jurmi Chopal. He is the CEO of Sejra Ventures Limited. It's an omni-channel business of retail, wholesale, and e-commerce business in Bhutan. Yes, omni-channel in Bhutan. Okay, Bhutan is small, but it's very developed. So it's an opportunity to learn from the wisdom of Mr. Jurmi and explore the opportunity to invest and work in Bhutan. So please join at WOM TV at 7:30 p.m. and let's visit Bhutan. So if Rajesh Bhai allow me, can I name the sponsors? Our
Sure,
hosting
sure.
partner, Visionary Technologies Company. Our BTL partner, RA Enterprises. Our strategy partner, Taylor's Book. Consulting and research partner, the Thalos Digital Services, Delhi. Marcom partner, Thinkcom, Marketing and Media Services. Technology consultant, Skyway Technology, Nigeria. So with this note, thank you everyone, and please invite your friends and family, especially students of marketing, to join WOM TV and let the world know about your thoughts. With this note, thank you. Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you, Ujjwani.
Thank you, Kavan Bhai. Thank you, Jenny. Jenny ma'am, thank you. It's a great learning today and exciting show. Very exciting today.
Seriously.
Everything we have learned so far about analytics and HR. So much learning. It's so much learning. Really, so nice. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and bye.